Okay. Okay, once again, good evening. So I would like to ask, I know that IK was the one that facilitated yesterday's class, and based on the timetable or the curriculum, I believe that he might have done justice to what we have. I don't know if there's anyone that can tell us what IK discussed about yesterday before we will move on to today's class. Is there anyone in the class that can remind us what IK taught us yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday. Good evening.
Yeah, good
Yesterday.
evening.
Yesterday we were doing conditional formatting and doing some practicals on conditional formatting. Then we came on also from there we proceeded to VS lookup, but we haven't done any practical on that. So he was planning tomorrow Sunday we will proceed with the VS lookup and complete it.
Okay. So you only did a conditional formatting yesterday.
Yeah, and absolute referencing. And
Okay. Well, I didn't plan to talk about, but I it's necessary to ask where he stopped. Though I didn't prepare for that. I was expecting him to talk about after condition formatting, uh, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, index, and so on and so forth. So, but since I plan to do makeup tomorrow, Sunday, I think there is no need of going back to that. And one thing I would like to advise you is that when he's taking you guys VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, though HLOOKUP is not that necessary because it's not that be useful in the industry nowadays. Then index number, just take note of it. As a data analyst, you can't do without it. Okay, like for instance, when you have a massive uh, data set and you want to get a sample or some out of it, you can make use of VLOOKUP. What is VLOOKUP? VLOOKUP is vertical lookup. Then HLOOKUP is a horizontal lookup. Then we also have the new one that just came up, not quite long. I think it was introduced last year, the last 2 years. That is XLOOKUP. Yeah, it's very easy to use. It's not difficult. Just that the difference between the XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP is that when you are creating, when you are trying to get the lookup value from the for VLOOKUP, it, it can only work from the left hand side. Why XLOOKUP, it doesn't matter where the lookup value stand, either from the left hand side or the right hand side. So just take note of that. So today we are going to look into let me share my screen. Pivot table. Then we'll top it with calculated field and filters. So, like I said, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, they are very important in data analytics. So as a data analyst and you are working with Microsoft Excel, you can't do without it. Also, the the pivot table, of which we are going to talk about this evening. So what is pivot table, or what do you know about pivot table? Ah, Sorry, seems that my system is hanging. So why is pivot table, or what do you understand about pivot table? I believe that some of us have been using a pivot table. I've been hearing about pivot table before. Who can tell us what is pivot table, or what is it used for?
Okay, it's a reporting tool that normally analyze raw data and summarize it into a digestible format.
Okay, that is fine. Who else again? Who can give us another definition or the another explanation? If the class is interactive, I think is it will be more interesting than only one person speaking. So you can try. Nothing bad in trying. You can try. Who can try again? Who can try? Are we all there? Okay.
Yes, yes, we are there.
All right. So, uh, pivot table in layman definition, uh, is used to summarize the data into the smallest or easy to understand. Like for instance, where you are having you have a lot of data concerning a gender like male and female, and you have a duplicate, and you want to know, okay, how many female do we have? Or okay, for instance, in this class now we have a data set that comprises both male and female. Or so I want to know, okay, how many female participated and how many male participated, and we have our data set on what? On Excel. We can use a pivot table to summarize it in a way that the pivot table will sum all the male together and sum all the female together. So it's not all about you. Like I said, the class is going to be practical. It's going to be practical. So I don't know if you need the Excel, the data set we're going to use today. If I should drop the link down whereby you can access it. So it's not about theory. It's going to be practical. Okay. So let's take on.
Okay.
Like I said, as a data analyst, you can't do with a pivot table. You can't do without a calculated field and the featuring in Excel. So pivot table is magic lens. Like we can easily to see what we have on the data. Like if you have massive or missing list of sales or record, or pivot table allow you to instantly summarize your thousands of rows into what? Tiny clear table without writing a single formula. Just like uh I won't make use of filter. Okay. I wanted to say group by on SQL. Majority of you may not have knowledge about SQL. So pivot table just like group by. So we then also have a calculated field. Calculated field does is also work with a pivot table. Like when we have summarized the based on the category, then you want to add more ingredients to the table you have. You make use of what? Calculated field. Then also have filter. Filter is what all of us think, like when we want to sorry, I hate this. Sorry, I don't know. It's because that on the norm, I'm not meant to be the one approving someone that is coming in. So be the facilitator at the same time be approving. I think it can lead to distraction. So, well, let's keep on managing it since we are just starting. So we also have a filter. So what filter does is that, like for instance, let me go back to my Microsoft Excel. Okay. So if I activate my filter, I'll be able to so if I want to see just for only code XO, and I can just uncheck all and there. So it helps us to quickly see. So let's move on. So the first one, we're going to deal with what? Pivot table. So uses of pivot table, or the benefits of pivot table. We can use it to summarize summarizing large data. Then we can use it for data analysis and exploration. Like if you want to create that report, interactive dashboard, and data validation. So without pivot table, there is no way you can create a dashboard on Excel. So you have to know how to make use of it. So let's go back to our Excel and then start practical. Sorry, let me accept this person. Now, as we can see that this data set, is very large. We have how many rows? We have about 20,000 rows. And if you look at this, so if you look at this sales channel, sorry, I want to change short date. So if you look at sales channel, we have how many? How many do we have? We have just 1, 2, 3, 4, just four sales channel. And if you want to count, want to summarize order count based on what? Like how many order they receive, or the client or customer place online wholesales, and you want to use pivot table. Without the aid of a pivot table, there is no way you can count this data set. Okay, are you with me? So there is no way we can count how many orders we have received from online wholesales in stores. For instance, we are doing this data set is our data set. We are assuming that is our company. So, or you want to see, okay, how many revenue have you generated from or the unit sold? Have we generated from, or have we sold from in-store and orders? So make use of what? Pivot table to do that. So let's quickly go that. So before you can do a pivot table, we have to select all your data, if you wish. Then you go on what? Insight. Select the table, go on Insight. You see pivot table option there. You can select it. Then a dialog box will pop up. So inside the dialog box, you have option already. The selected table or the range have already been done. Then the second option again is, okay, do you want to have your pivot table on a new worksheet or existing worksheet? If assuming I want to have it on this particular worksheet, I'll select existing sheet. So since I want it on a new worksheet, I'll select OK, right? So the next thing, so I was talking about this sales channel. So, and if you look at this, if you look at this side, your right hand side, we have filters, we have columns, we have rows, and we also have values. So each of these has its own functions or its own role that is performing on this. Like for instance, the filters option here, like after you have already done your pivot table and you want to still filter or do some filter out some category, you can make use of filter. Then also column, like if you want to have rows and column, you can also make use of column. But for today's case or for this case, we are going to use rows and values. So what will come to our rows is what is our sales channel, right? Then, like I said before, want to count order, as we make use of order number. So you can see that if you look at this now, I've already summarized this now. This is the big data set we have before. But coming to this, you have already summarized it. So it will be able to quickly understand that, okay, distributors sorry, 1 minute. So distributors has a 4,988. Then install has a 5,040. You can see that we already got the summary based on the sales channel, right? But coming to this, to the main table or the main data, like I said before, it is difficult for us to get insight to this data based on the order received from the customers. So pivot table now have helped us to quickly do that. So like I said before, again, like if you want to create a chart or you want to create a dashboard, you always make use of what? Pivot table, right? So for instance, if I want to visualize this, how am I going about it? So if I want to visualize this, I can make use of this. I'll first of all reference this, then I will drag to this, so I can visualize based on this and leave this because this is my main source. Why am I doing that? If I should visualize based on this, it may affect my my visual when maybe when I added the slicer. So, but we're not talking about visualization today. We are talking about pivot table. So let me quickly remove it. So then we have successfully created the pivot table for sales channel. So we can also like if you want to see how much we have generated through sales channel, you can copy this, then paste it. Paste this. So this let me call this sales channel. Then format it. So okay, let's make it sales channel by okay. So now the next one, now I want to create uh, sales channel by revenue. Maybe together. Okay, so now I can instead of to create a new pivot table, since you have created once before, you can copy that and modify it or edit it. So if I click any part of it now, so I will go to our from the data set, the revenue have already been calculated. So I will just remove this. So I'll add my revenue. So let me change the revenue to so this is our revenue that we generated from each sales channel. Then we can also do that for sales team. We can also copy this. So, sales team. So now I want to see, okay, revenue generated by sales team. So like I said before, you can edit it. You don't need to start afresh since you have created Fox one. So I will remove this from row. I'll add let me look for sales team. Okay. So these the revenue generated. So by sales team. Then we also have let's go back again. Let me rename this and call it my pivot table. So that's then also have products. So let's do products and move on. So let's do products. So I can just copy this again. So in terms of products, we are going to use units sold by revenue products or units sold by products. So now we can see the same process. There is nothing new, just so in for channel, unit cost. So our other quantity is the same thing as what unity sold, unit sold. So we add other quantity to what? To this. So if you look at this, what do you think we are doing? Or why are we doing this? Is pivot table not helping if you look at this? So if you, as you can see, the pivot table help us to what? To summarize it. So we have already summarized the order received through a sales channel, revenue by sales channel, revenue generated by sales teams, unit quantity sold or unity sold by product. So notwithstanding, so we can also add more values to this. For instance, if I want to see, okay, not if I don't want to limit it to unity sold alone, and I want to see the revenue, the cost of product. So I can also add together. So for cost, let's add cost to it first. So this is the cost of each product or the sum of cost. Then we can also add our revenue. So let me add. So we can see that we have successfully added the other quantity, sum of course, that is the purchase cost, the revenue generated from each product. Please, if it is time for break, if someone should just notify me. So this is a pivot table for you. So then we also have calculated field. So calculated field is Excel calculated field in Excel are user-defined formulas within the pivot table that perform calculation using existing data field, allowing for custom analysis without modifying the source data. What is it saying? So calculated field is that we can create or we can create a new calculation without going back to the source. We can add more calculation to this without going back to the source. Then what is it used for? They use it for custom calculation, dynamic data. It work along with the pivot table. Then we don't need to go to edit, no source editing, flexible metrics. So what is metrics? Hello. Who can tell us what is metrics as a data analyst? Okay. We get there. We have KPI and metrics. When you heard about KPI and metric, they are not the same. So when we get there, we'll explain more. So for instance, I want to calculate the profit. I can make use of calculated field to add the profit to this table. And I can also add a profit margin. So if you remember, profit is I think profit is cost minus sales, right? So let's see if we can add to it. So if you want to do that, if you want to create a calculated field, you go to pivot table and analyze. Then you come to field items and set. You click on drop down. You will see calculated field there. You can select it. So what I want to create is what is currency. I will select currency. Then I'll name it profit. Then come to the formula. So I have my revenue already. I'll select revenue inside minus cost, not unit cost. That is overall cost. Now inside, add, select. So we have added calculated field without even going to the source. We did it from the pivot table here. I think it's 8:45. We used to go a break. Hello. Hello. Okay. 15 minute break. So when we come back, we'll continue from where we stopped.